My name is Charlotte, and at 31 years old, I learned something ugly about family. Some people will clap for strangers before they ever clap for you. I found that out on a Thursday night standing barefoot in my apartment kitchen with a half-burnt grilled cheese in the pan and my mother screaming through my phone like I'd committed a crime. All because I told her who I was marrying. She asked me one question. What does he do? I smiled when I answered because I was proud of him. I said, he's a mechanic. Silence. Not normal silence either, the kind that turns the air cold. Then she laughed. Not loud, worse. That short little laugh people do when they think you've embarrassed them in public. A mechanic, she said. Elena, baby, after everything we sacrificed, you're throwing your life away for some grease-stained garage boy? Garage boy. That phrase stayed under my skin like glass. She kept going. You were supposed to marry up, not down. Then click. Call ended. My own mother hung up on me like I was a telemarketer. And let me tell you something right now. When your own family acts ashamed of the person you love, it changes the way your heartbeat sounds inside your chest. Not one person from my family came to the wedding. Not my mother, not my older brother, Marcus, not my aunties who spent years posting fake Bible verses about love and loyalty on Facebook every Sunday morning. Nobody. One whole side of the chapel sat empty like a punishment, and I still walked down that aisle. 3 days later, my phone exploded with 126 missed calls, and deep down, I already knew why. If you've ever had people ignore your struggle, then suddenly remember your number the second life starts going good, stay with me for this one. Because this story ain't really about revenge. It's about what happens when the people who looked down on you finally realize they were standing underneath you the whole time. It started 6 months before the wedding at my mother's birthday dinner in Charleston, South Carolina. My mother, Vanessa Brooks, loved appearances more than oxygen. Everything about her life looked staged. The house smelled like expensive candles nobody was allowed to burn. Plastic covers on furniture nobody sat on. Family photos arranged like trophies. Even the way she hugged people felt rehearsed. My brother Marcus was her golden child. Corporate attorney, tailored suits, country club membership. The kind of man who says networking opportunity instead of party. Me, I was the disappointment, who became an architect instead of a lawyer. And somehow even that wasn't enough, because I fell in love with a man who fixed engines with his bare hands. His name was Isaiah Reed. I met him after my car broke down outside Savannah during a thunderstorm. Every tow company was backed up. I was soaked, furious, exhausted, standing under a gas station awning trying not to cry, when this old black pickup rolled into the parking lot. Out stepped Isaiah. 6'2", work boots, oil stains on his hoodie, voice calm as still water. "You all right, Mame?" That was the first thing he ever said to me. Not flirting, not trying too hard, just genuine. 30 minutes later, my car was running. 2 hours later, we were eating gas station hot dogs sitting on the curb, laughing like we'd known each other for years. That's how it started. Not fancy, not cinematic, just real. And people who only respect polished things will never understand the power of real. By the time I brought Isaiah to dinner at my mother's house, we'd already been together almost a year. I knew it wouldn't go smoothly. I just didn't know it would become a damn public execution. Isaiah showed up carrying flowers for my mother and bourbon for Marcus. My mother barely touched the flowers. Marcus looked Isaiah up and down like he was checking for hidden cameras. Dinner started polite enough, then Marcus asked it. "So, Isaiah, what exactly do you do?" Isaiah smiled. "I own a repair shop outside Savannah." Marcus smirked instantly. "Oh, auto repair. Not business owner, not entrepreneur, just auto repair." Like the words themselves tasted cheap. Isaiah nodded calmly. "Yeah, mostly diesel work, fleet contracts too." My mother jumped in quick. "Elena always had expensive taste growing up. I'm sure she'll adjust." Adjust. Like I was marrying into poverty, like love was some financial setback. I looked at Isaiah waiting for him to get angry. He didn't. That man had a level of self-control I still don't understand. He just cut his steak and kept eating. Later that night in the driveway, I apologized. He leaned against his truck and shrugged. "Your family don't know me yet." I asked if it bothered him. He looked at me real serious then. "Baby, people who judge working hands usually never built nothing themselves." I should have known right there that he was different. My mother started campaigning against the wedding after that dinner. And when I say campaigning, I mean full-time job. Phone calls, passive-aggressive texts, random articles about successful marriages and financial compatibility. One day, she literally mailed me a bridal magazine with certain pages folded down. Every groom in those pages wore suits that cost more than Isaiah's truck. One night, she called crying. Actually crying. "Elena, please think about your future." I asked her what she meant, and she finally said it out loud. "You're too educated to marry a mechanic." There it was. Not concern, not fear, ego. Because to my mother, my marriage wasn't about love. It was branding, family image, social currency, and Isaiah didn't fit the aesthetic. Marcus got worse. Every conversation became some slick little insult hidden inside fake jokes. "Better keep AAA on speed dial." "Are you marrying him or opening a NASCAR pit crew?" Stuff like that. The wild part? Marcus was drowning in debt. Big house, luxury SUV, designer watches, everything financed, everything fake. Meanwhile, Isaiah owned his shop outright. No loans, no investors, no flexing, just work. That's the thing people don't tell you. Some of the richest men in America look broke, and some of the brokest men wear Rolexes. 2 months before the wedding, my mother tried one last move. She invited me to brunch alone. Fancy rooftop restaurant downtown, mimosas, fake smiles, the whole setup. Halfway through the meal, she reached across the table and grabbed my hand. "Elena, if you call this off now, nobody has to know." I laughed because I genuinely thought she was joking. She wasn't. She lowered her voice. "We can say you postponed it. You're still young. You could meet someone more suitable." Suitable. Like Isaiah was a pair of shoes she didn't approve of. I pulled my hand back slowly. "Mom, I love him." And I swear to God, she looked disappointed in me for saying it. "You love potential," she said. "Women confuse struggle with passion all the time." I stood up so fast, my chair scraped loud enough for half the restaurant to stare. "No," I said quietly, "you confuse money with character." Then I walked out. Wedding week came. Nobody from my family called. Nobody asked about flowers. Nobody asked about seating. Nothing. Silence can scream louder than insults sometimes. The night before the wedding, I sat alone in our apartment, staring at my grandmother's necklace in my hands. My grandma Ruby raised 4 kids while my grandfather worked construction his entire life. She used to say something when I was little. A man who works hard will never let you starve. Simple, but real. My mother hated that saying, because Grandma Ruby respected workers more than status. Isaiah walked into the room carrying Chinese takeout and found me crying. He sat beside me quietly. No speeches, no fake positivity, just wrapped his arm around me. "You want to cancel?" he asked softly. And that question broke my heart more than anything else. Because he would have understood. That man loved me enough to let me go if he thought staying hurt me. I shook my head. "No," I whispered. "I'm tired of begging people to see your value." He kissed my forehead. "Then tomorrow," he said, "we celebrate with the people who do." The wedding day was beautiful. Not expensive, not viral. Beautiful. String lights, small chapel, rain tapping softly against stained glass windows. Isaiah cried the second I walked down the aisle. Full tears, too, didn't even try to hide them. And honestly, that healed something in me. Because men who aren't afraid to love out loud are rare these days. My side had 7 people total. His side filled almost every seat. Mechanics, truck drivers, 2 school teachers, an old customer who hugged Isaiah after the ceremony crying because Isaiah fixed her late husband's truck for free before he passed. Real people. People who show up. And I realized something standing there saying my vows. Empty chairs don't mean you're unloved. Sometimes they just reveal who was never really with you to begin with. The wedding ended around 9 p.m. We ate barbecue, danced barefoot, laughed until my cheeks hurt, and for one whole night, I forgot my family existed. 3 days later, everything changed. I woke up to Isaiah already gone. He'd left early for work. I was making coffee when my phone started vibrating non-stop. Texts, calls, voicemails, notifications stacked so fast my screen froze twice. At first, I thought somebody died. Then I saw the message from Marcus. "Call me now." Another from my mother. "Why didn't you tell us?" Then a link. I clicked it, and my entire body went cold. The headline read, "Local mechanic sells EV fleet software company for $480 million. I sat down so hard I missed the chair halfway. Turns out, Isaiah hadn't just owned a repair shop. For the last 8 years, he'd quietly been building proprietary software for electric truck diagnostics. Started as a side project in the back office of his garage. 1 contract became 5. 5 became nationwide fleet systems. Then one of the biggest transportation companies in America bought the whole thing. Overnight, Isaiah Reed became one of the wealthiest businessmen in the Southeast. And suddenly, my family remembered we existed. 126 missed calls. My mother left 6 voicemails crying about family. Marcus suddenly wanted to catch up. Cousins I hadn't heard from in years started commenting under wedding photos. "So happy for y'all." Fake love moves fast when money enters the room. Isaiah came home around noon. I just held up my phone. He sighed immediately. "Damn," he muttered. "You knew this was happening?" I asked. "Not for sure," he said. "Deal finalized yesterday." I stared at him. "You sold a company for almost $500 million and forgot to mention it?" He laughed. "Baby, you married me before the money. That's the part I care about." And right there, I understood why God hid certain blessings until after certain people leave your life. Because some folks would have never shown their true hearts otherwise. My mother showed up at our apartment 2 days later, wearing pearls and carrying peach cobbler like we were suddenly starring in a Hallmark movie. She hugged Isaiah first. That told me everything. Marcus arrived later with business ideas already prepared. I'm dead serious. This man brought a PowerPoint presentation on his laptop, talking about investment opportunities. Isaiah listened politely. Then Marcus said something that changed the air in the room completely. "We always knew you were capable of bigger things than auto repair." Always knew. Isaiah looked at him calmly. "No, you didn't." Silence. Heavy silence. Marcus laughed nervously. "Well, maybe not the full scale, but—" "You looked down on me," Isaiah said softly. "That's okay, but don't rewrite history now. I watched my brother shrink in real time, and for the first time in my life, I didn't rescue him from embarrassment." My mother started crying again. "Elena, we were only worried about you." I finally snapped. "No," I said. "You were worried about what your friends would think." The room went dead quiet. My mother stared at me like she didn't recognize me anymore. Maybe she didn't, because the version of me who spent years begging for approval had disappeared somewhere between those empty wedding chairs and Isaiah crying at the altar. A week later, Isaiah got invited to speak at a business conference in Atlanta. Big event, media everywhere, investors, executives. Guess who suddenly wanted tickets? Yep, my family. All of them. Marcus even bought a new suit for it. The same brother who called Isaiah Garage Boy now practiced introductions in the mirror like they'd grown up best friends. At the conference, Isaiah spoke for 20 minutes. No flashy billionaire talk, no ego. He talked about labor, about mechanics, about blue-collar workers keeping America alive, while everybody else looked down on them. Then, near the end, he said something I'll never forget. "The woman I married loved me when people thought I was just a mechanic. That's how I know she's real." Whole room applauded. I cried instantly, not because of the money, not because of the crowd, because after a lifetime of feeling unseen by my own family, somebody finally saw me completely. After the speech, reporters crowded around us. One woman asked my mother how long she'd known Isaiah was such a successful entrepreneur. And Lord, you should have seen her face. That woman smiled so hard her cheeks shook. "Oh, we've always believed in Isaiah." Always believed in him. I looked at her for 3 seconds. Then I said calmly into the reporter's microphone, "My husband was good enough when he fixed engines. He just wasn't good enough when people thought that's all he'd ever do." Complete silence. My mother whispered my name like a warning, but I was done protecting lies. Isaiah reached for my hand. That steady, warm grip. The same one that held mine when nobody showed up. And I realized something in that moment. The people who truly love you clap before the spotlight hits. Everybody else is just noise after success arrives. My family left early that night. No dramatic goodbye, no screaming, just quiet humiliation. And honestly, that hurt them more. Months passed. Things changed, but not magically. My mother still called trying to rebuild the image she lost. Marcus still sent business proposals, but boundaries are a beautiful thing once you finally learn them. Isaiah and I bought land outside Savannah. Big porch, oak trees, peaceful. Sometimes at night we sit outside listening to crickets while Isaiah works on old engines in the garage for fun. Millionaire hands still covered in grease, because real men don't forget who they are after money shows up. Last winter, I found my grandmother's necklace again while unpacking boxes. Tucked behind the photo was a note in her handwriting I'd never seen before. It said, "The right people love you before the world claps for you." I cried for almost an hour, because that was the whole story right there. Not wealth, not revenge, not headlines, just truth. The right people show up early, before the cameras, before the applause, before the money. And if you're lucky enough to find somebody who loves you while your name still means nothing to the world, hold onto them with both hands, because that kind of love, that's rarer than money will ever be.